Hello everybody, welcome back to the Kerbal Space Program. Today we are going to be attempting to send a rover to the Mun in preparation for eventual colonization and mining operations and so forth on the Mun. Now, where's my Kethane rover? I designed a rover using some of the mod parts here. This has just a rover body, which I really like this rover body, a Kethane detector, generator, and there's a battery kind of clipped into the top of this thing here. So basically this is going to be the unit that's going to go find out where we're going to actually put the base down on the Mun. I designed a little, it's not really a sky crane, but a little thing to deliver the machine there. So it's all looking pretty good, except I just noticed, not sure that's going to matter. I was going to say that I didn't put a probe body on that, but I think we're going to deorbit that into the Mun anyway. Now, before we actually launch this thing, I did want to go ahead and try to figure out where we're going to land. So, first I guess we should try to find a decent Kethane deposit. We're going to use this to do that. The Kethane scanning takes forever. I'm going to activate the detector even though we're not really going to be using it. I'm just going to pick this because it's a pretty good streak of Kethane that I see there. So let's like 24, 26 by 14, 24 by 14, somewhere around there. So I don't have ISA on this thing, unfortunately, which means we have to go back to the Space Center and go back to the Tracking Center and try to actually pick out that spot with the ISA satellite here to try to get an idea of what we are targeting. Now, 24, 14. It's going to be right in this crater here. And we are right above that, conveniently enough. Although it's dark, so I can't tell what that actually looks like, which is a little bit unfortunate. That's our current location right there. I kind of want to buzz around the moon until the sun comes up, so I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to try to actually see what this looks like, so we can get an idea of our target location. Alright, well, I am pretty sure that this is going to be our target right here, this crater, because it's a little bit north of the equator. It's a little hard to tell, but it's got what looks like the low topography around it, and then I can see that crater, I believe, over there, because it's got the weird little low spot. So I'm pretty sure that that's the correct crater. So we're going to be aiming for really right around the top quadrant of that crater there. So let's go ahead and get this thing underway, I guess. This is going to be using the same launcher that I've been using for most things. This is probably a lot more fuel than I need, but I wanted to make sure it was going to have enough because this stage is actually pretty heavy. It's a lot heavier than it really needs to be, but I wanted to be sure that I would actually have enough fuel to choose my landing spot fairly accurately if I want to here. Of course, it's a rover, so I'm not that worried about getting precise. It's going to be just driving around trying to find the Kethane anyway, so we probably want to close this right quick because we don't need it for the moment. Let's go ahead and I'm just gonna do a standard launch here, and I guess I will see you guys up in orbit as usual. We'll get our maneuvers planned, so I'll be back. Alright, well, this thing has achieved its orbit, so let's take a look and try to find our best. Oh, we're actually coming up pretty close. I hope I have time to plan my maneuver here. Let's go ahead and add a maneuver, and we will burn. Zoom out a little bit so I can see what the heck I'm doing. Alright, we're probably getting pretty close to an encounter, right? I don't really know what that purpley line's telling me. What have I done? Nothing good. That is not good. Let's scooch it forward. That is really bad still. What if I burn this away? That's much better. Okay. And that's wildly inaccurate. There's no way that's going to be that long of a thing, but we'll go ahead and execute the node. So I'll meet you guys in transit to the moon. Alright, well, we are departing Kerbal at super rapid speed, and we have reached basically our periapsis here, so we can get planned for our doohickey thingy. So let's see what this does. Execute the next node. With a little luck, we'll have the fuel left for this. You're executing, okay. Just want to make sure. Not much time. Now, I don't know how long this burn's going to be, but apparently MechJeb doesn't think it's going to be a very long burn, because it is waiting until the last moment to do this. MechJeb's usually got a pretty good idea. Yeah, not too bad. So we'll have some fuel left to deorbit this, I'm sure, with too, which is good. Try to keep the space junk down. This thing didn't have like a ton of extra fuel. I thought I'd have more extra fuel than I do, to be 100% honest, but alrighty, so now we get to do the manual bits. Just didn't want to deal with that crap. Now, let's take a look at our situation here. We're going to try to land probably like there. So how do I want to go about doing this in an efficient manner? It doesn't really matter that much where I start my burn from, because our orbit is very even thanks to good old MechJeb. But let's just do some tweaking and see what we can get done here. Because I want to come in at a fairly steep, not steep angle, but I also want to adjust this like up yonder. And I'm going to be burning off a lot of that speed, so let's call that good. Even because then we can start dropping vertical and hopefully land in that crater. Now, actually, this is one more thing. I am going to have MechJeb handle this burn as well. What are we looking at for a burn here? A 2-second burn? That doesn't seem that likely to me, but I'll take your word for it. It is only 135 meters, or 132 meters per second we got to do here, so it's possible. I want this to be fairly precise, so I'm going to let the computers handle this. Plus it will warp me around to the right spot. Then we can ditch this stage. It'll crash into the mun. We won't have to worry about that. Then it'll just be a matter of not dying getting this thing down. I could use the automatic landing doohickey thingy, but I like landing things myself. Whoa, I thought my ship disappeared. It was just a weird shadow. Oh, look at that. They're both dark sides going on at once. Now, hopefully the moon has not rotated too much under us. It did a little bit, but not too bad. You always got to account for that when you plan maneuvers that are really far ahead. I actually shouldn't have planned that so far ahead, because I might have needed to adjust it a little further than that. Hate it when the camera does that. It always scares me. Alright, so what are we looking at? Just about perfect. So let's get rid of that crap. Now, I'm being careful here because I don't want to screw up. Have we used up the monopropellant in that? We have used a fair amount of that. I wonder how much time I have to actually get this done. I would like to transfer some fuel, and I always end up clicking like that. I'd like to transfer some of this fuel out that we're going to need, possibly. I mean, we're not going to need it crashing into the moon. It doesn't really do anybody any good that way. And then we can start getting the burns going. It's not a ton left in there, but we can get what we can get out of it. Try to keep it sort of balanced too. If I just fill up the tanks on this side and do whatever we can on the opposite side, which is there. Craft balance is kind of screwed up anyway on this thing. And how close are we going to be to actually filling that other tank? Not that close. But it'll have to do. Alright, RCS. Oh, damn it, I did it again. I end up doing that so often. Alright, cool beans. Now, everything is just plummeting, correct? And I don't really want to do anything until we get closer to the surface here. I don't exactly want to do a suicide burn, but that's probably kind of what it's going to be. I'm going to take some time here. Well, we're still pretty high up. Okay, I'm going to have to use RCS. I was going to try to avoid using RCS for this, but because I'd like to save that for adjustments once we get down, but doesn't look like that's going to be happening. Let's just cheat that real quick and turn off the RCS. And of course we're going to have to adjust that because it's going to drop, but let's get closer to the surface here. Stupid lander being stuck there. If I had more fuel, I'd go try to crash into it. Alright, so I think I'm really not going to start burning until right about there-ish. Because I don't want to drop this too much. So let's stop. Check our alignment. It is all screwed up. Probably faster to go. Ooh, ah! Turn. Now, it's really important that I not miss this crater entirely, because I don't have to do more driving than I want to. So our altitude's still super duper high here. Let's turn off the RCS, just let that stabilize with the torque of the probe. I have to give this some thought. Okay, you are not keeping up with this though. I kind of wait till it's at a more like straight drop, because I should really be able to burn a lot of this off. I am going to manually put down my gear right now because I don't want to accidentally put the wheels down on the rover, because they might bump into the ground. Leave those wheels tucked up where they're nice and safe for now. I'd like my resources up. We got a good amount of monopropellant still. I probably didn't exactly need to transfer all that because we're going to be using up a good amount of this now. Let's do a little bit of burning just to move that over this way a little bit. I mean, we really shouldn't be moving that too terribly much at this point, because a lot of this is going to be speed that we're burning off, because we're going pretty straight already. Unfortunately, I have no way of knowing how much fuel is actually left in this tank at this point. This is a bad approach, actually, because I'm going to be coming in almost parallel to the surface. That's unfortunate. Well, I think we can probably ditch this stage now, because it's going to be easier to deal with on my own. Let's get... and I'm just being really careful to not accidentally drop the rover here. Let's go ahead and fire that up. And I am going to lock the stage now. Just want to get some separation between us. Alrighty. So, what are we looking at here? I'm feeling okay about this landing. It's not going to be too far off of where I want it to be. I think where I wanted to be is right in this mountainy region, but I didn't want to land there. I wanted to land in the flatter part. So I actually feel okay about this. This might just turn out, and this thing turns a lot better now that we got rid of that huge rocket too. So let's get a little bit of burnage going here. Start killing off some of this speed, because these engines are fairly powerful, but could be a little bit of an issue stopping quite as much as I want to. Keep watching what this is doing to my trajectory. If I can land right here, I would be a-okay with that. I know this isn't the most efficient burn, but that's what I'm going to be doing here. Try to get that kind of straightish. Call that good. When we get a little bit lower, we're going to want to burn off more of this velocity because there's still a lot of it. But this seems like a pretty decent place to build a base. I wonder if this is supposed to be the Sea of Tranquility. I know that the Sea of Tranquility is in this game. It very well could be. And if we get down here, we can actually probably hover a little bit. I need my RCS on because it's getting crazy. Yeah, we can probably hover this thing just a little bit if we successfully touch down. I turn on whatever lights we have to try to help gauge distance here. We got most of that horizontal speed burnt off now, which is excellent. Going to be dropping right on the boundary of this crater. Not quite where I wanted, but it'll do. Once I'm dropping straight down, we're going to turn off the engines for a little bit again and just go in on whatever we got, because I don't have ginormous amounts of fuel left. We came to a hover there for a second. Let's get pointed exactly, well, nearly exactly up and down. So where are we landing? Yeah, just outside the crater. Darn it. Oh well. Oh well. I'm afraid to do much time warping right now because I have a terrible feeling something bad will happen, but I'm going to do a little bit. Just get us down to 10,000 or so, and then we'll really give it the beans again. Well, actually, I don't know what the surface altitude is here. And I don't have any radar. Well, we'll be a little careful then, because it would be a dang shame if this thing were to collide at unsafe velocities. See if we can start burning off some of that speed. That is barely slowing me down. I'm gonna want to start kind of really getting some speed here burned off. I try to keep it on all the rest of this descent down to a safe landing speed, probably, or close to it. Still looks pretty far away, to be honest. Let's cut it a little bit. It is such a guessing game. I wish there was just a radar altimeter on every one of these ships, but there is not. I guess MechJeb has radar altimeter built into it, but I don't have a MechJeb on this thing. This is by eyes only. It seems like it's going to be a pretty nice place to build a base, actually. It looks fairly flat in that crater and stuff, so hopefully we can actually find some Kethane around here. I'm waiting. Oh, there's the little pop-in of the scatter effects there. That's a good sign. Let's get our controls back on here. Give me a little bit better of throttle control. I want to have enough fuel left in this thing that I can take off with it again. That's why I put the probe body on it, so that I could take off with it again. And hopefully get enough altitude to crash it is my ultimate goal there. engines again. Let the speed build up just a hair. Alright, I can really start seeing the terrain details a lot better now. This looks like a really flat area. Actually, we kind of lucked out because it's a lot hillier up there. The rover won't have any problems with that. But I wouldn't want to be landing on it necessarily. Alright, let's not scooch so far over that way. I'm not pleased with how the rover is. I mean, not the rover, this landing craft is scooching over. But there's not a lot I can do without turning off the SAS, and I'm a little worried to do that. Hovering too much again. Holy moly. And I don't want to go this way. More engine, more engine. Alright, we're gaining freaking altitude again, man. Holy crap, this thing has a little bit too much thrust, even on the teensiest, tiniest levels there. I wonder if I could... Rocks are really close now. Okay. Got a pretty good idea how high up we are now. More thrust. Don't tip over that way, please. Why are you doing this to me? Come on, rover. The SAS is kind of screwing things up for me here just a little bit, but I don't want to turn it off really either. This thing also has a little bit more thrust than it needs. Man, if I just hit that thing, it takes off. This is horrible. A lot of horizontal speed here. Oh dear God. Not the best landing that ever happened, but it might be recoverable. Let's just wait for things to stop sliding. We lost the probe body there. That's not the best. Okay. Wait for things to settle down here, if they're going to settle down. What happens if I retract one of these gear? I can't retract one of them. I have to retract all of them. Alright, well that did something. So if I hit... Which direction with the RCS here? I'm going to try to get a jump. Nope. Not gonna happen. We timed the roll right. Well, this is a bit of an issue. Alright, well it's landed, but it's landed upside down. So it's like crab walk over, but it's not gonna happen. What would happen if I shut down 3 of the engines and fired 1? That is helping. Let's shut down. I mean, let's activate another one too. Maybe if everything happens in concert here. That's not doing a darn thing. And we ran out of fuel. Well. Let's see if we can flip this thing. And deploy the wheels before it gets hurt. And it got hurt. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, it might be hurt. Nothing is broken off of it, it seems. Retract the wheels. And probe bodies can kind of roll. Oh yeah, I think we got this. Right on the sensor. Don't break the sensor, please. Nope, 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 nope. Well, that was insane. But it's here, and it seems intact. Which is fairly lucky. Whew. Well, that's a pinpoint perfect landing there. Can't do any better than that. More landing gear would have helped, I think. It was a little bit unstable. But the rover's working. And we can try to head off to wherever we need to go. I'm going to get the ISA map up so we can actually try to... No, Kerbin's not going to help. Alright, we are actually right on target pretty much here. So let's go ahead and activate the detector, turn on the map. And let's go roving a little bit. I'll catch up with guys if we find anything. That lovely little sound there means that the rover has detected the Kethane. So we have found a spot that we're going to stop. It was 12.7 kilometers away. Fortunately, this thing has cruise control, which is pretty awesome. And look how cool looking. Look at that. This game's really pretty sometimes. So yeah, this looks like a pretty good Kethane field that we've run into here. So this is going to be, I don't know, not too difficult of a place to build a base. Let's go ahead and set the brakes and get this thing stopped. And this is going to pretty much mark where we're going to try to set things up. We'll use this thing as an advanced scout in the future. Can I please stop doing that? Yeah, so this is going to end up being our little marker for the future of where we need to land stuff. But there's still a lot of other stuff that needs to be done first. The space station around Kerbal still needs to be completed. And then we need to actually get one out here to the Mun. And we'll start landing some base parts soon. So I have the rest of the space station for Kerbal designed. I'm probably going to do some launches of some more parts of that in the next episode. And then we start thinking about the moon once that's done. But this was pretty successful aside from crashing the lander. But I just had too much velocity going there. And the RCS was not powerful enough. I could have used more RCS really to help stabilize that. But it worked out. The rover didn't get hurt. I'm going to turn off that sound because it's driving me crazy. And anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.